I'm going to share an experience I had with my neighbor ant in this video. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. I used to live in an apartment building, and there was an ant who lived next door. One day, I went into her room and saw her in a strange state. Then, I started getting closer to her. My name is Rahul, and I live in Pune. I'm pursuing an engineering degree, and I'm 20 years old. My height is 5 feet 9 inches. I don't have six-pack abs, but I do have a V-shaped body. Honestly, I'm quite shy, which is why I've never proposed to any girl. However, I love watching web series, and this habit of mine has only been growing. While watching web series, I started feeling more attracted to older women rather than girls of my age. Because of this, I lost interest in girls my age or younger. I found women in saris very attractive. Their skin color or body shape didn't matter to me anymore. You can probably understand how far my attraction had gone. I used to live on the 10th floor of an apartment. My friends also stayed with me in the same flat. There were many ants in my society whom I found attractive. One of them was particularly beautiful. Her name was Shreya. She lived on the 6th floor. I had seen her multiple times in the lift, going up and down. One day, she got into the lift with her friends from the 6th floor. As the lift doors were closing, she asked me, "Are you going up or down?" I was caught off guard by her sudden question and hesitated for a moment before replying. "I'm going up." Seeing my nervousness, she started laughing. She and her friends began teasing me. I felt bad at that moment. But when I returned to my room, I thought about how confident she was. I really liked such confident women. Shreya auntie had a dusky complexion. She had no fat around her waist, and her face always radiated confidence. Her hair was always neatly tied. After that incident in the lift, I started noticing her more. Sometimes I'd see her while she was coming in, sometimes while she was going out. Sometimes she'd be with her daughter, and sometimes she'd be alone. But until then, I had never seen her with her husband. I always wondered if maybe her husband was at work, which is why I never saw him. By now, I had started fantasizing about being with her. She often wore suits and salwars, but she looked stunning in a sari. I used to think that not just me, but anyone would want to be with her. One day, I was taking the lift down. When it reached the 6th floor, Shreya auntie asked me to stop the lift. I helped her and stood near the door. She started placing 4 big garbage bags into the lift, one by one. While she was putting them in, she brushed against me a few times. After placing the bags, she stepped inside, and then it was just the two of us in the lift. From that day on, I started noticing her even more. Whenever I saw her coming or going, she began trying to learn more about me, like which floor I lived on, what I did, who I stayed with, and so on. Gradually, we became somewhat acquainted. Whenever the lift was crowded, Auntie always stood close to me. Maybe she had started trusting me. Many times, her body would brush against mine, and my attraction toward her kept growing. One day, Auntie returned from shopping and stood in the lift. A rickshaw driver carried 3 big shopping bags into the lift. When we reached the 6th floor, she asked me for help. I agreed and picked up 2 bags, while she carried one. When we stepped out of the lift, she began unlocking her flat. We placed the bags inside, and I was about to leave when she said, "Sit down and have some water." I refused, but she insisted, "Why are you so shy?" I replied, "I've always been like this since childhood." While talking, we both sat on the sofa, though she kept a little distance between us. Auntie then asked, "Are you in the society's WhatsApp group?" I said no. She asked for my number, saying she would add me to the group. Then suddenly, she said, "Oh, I got so busy talking that I forgot to give you water." She got up, brought me water, and I drank it before thanking her and leaving. That same evening, she got me added to the WhatsApp group, The next morning, I received a good morning message from her. Seeing her message made me so happy. Soon, we started exchanging messages regularly. Sometimes she'd send something, sometimes I would. One day, I sent her 5 YouTube video links, one of which was of a Bengali girl's sari photo shoot. Auntie saw it and immediately replied, "Oh, so you watch these kinds of videos too?" I panicked and said, "Auntie, I sent it by mistake." She replied, "I used to think you were so decent, but here you are watching such videos." I quickly apologized again, then she laughed and said, "Why are you so scared? At your age, watching such videos is completely normal." Even after this conversation, our messaging continued as usual. A few days later, the school closed. My roommate was going to his house. I went to drop them down, and while coming up, Auntie met me on the road. She asked if it was school holidays. I said, "Yes." Aunt said, "So you didn't go?" I said, "No, Auntie, I didn't go because I have some work for the college project." She said, "Aren't you afraid of being alone?" I said, "No." She said, "I think so." And then I came up. When I reached the top, I got a message from her on WhatsApp, "You look at me very strangely." He then blocked me on WhatsApp. I was in utter shock. I was very afraid. What happened suddenly? Then I thought maybe she saw me looking at her body. Anyway, I got to work. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the bell in my room rang. When I opened the door, my aunt was standing in front of me. She wore a yellow suit. I started apologizing before I got in. But she came in. She didn't say anything and I closed the door. She came in and said, "I've been seeing you for a long time that you look at me strangely. I've been ignoring you for a long time. At first I thought maybe I was thinking about you wrong, but then when I started paying attention to you, I became sure that you were looking at me." I said, "No, it's nothing like that. If you feel that way, I'm sorry." Auntie said, "You still don't accept your mistake. If you make a mistake, I'll forgive you. But you tell me the truth." I said, "Yes, I've seen you once or twice. But I don't think I will ever do that again." She said, "Yes, I knew." Then she became normal and started saying, "Do you like me so much?" I said, "No, it's nothing. I was afraid." She said, "Look at this. You don't want to see it now?" After saying this, she let go of my hair and went to sit in the front chair. She said, "Look. You will be punished. Connect me to your parents. I will complain to them about how you study here." I said, "No, Auntie, if you call them, I will get beaten up." She said, "Well, then you'll have to do something for me." I said, "I'm ready to do anything." She said, "You have to do with me today what you shared the YouTube link to me that day, and what you showed in that video. If you do these things to me, I won't tell your parents. Look, if you want me to hide this from your parents, you'll have to do it with me." I was so scared and didn't know what to do or what not to do. I wanted to do this because I'd been hungry for a long time. I immediately said yes to Auntie and immediately got ready to do all those things. Because I'd be happy and I'd be happy. I'd been very busy with my college life as well. I was trying to open my mind, but I couldn't find anyone who would. We immediately agreed to share our feelings with each other. My whole body shivered as I spoke. She was still standing on her body. She leaned back and sat down next to him. Both were looking forward to what was to come. I'm going to do something I've never done before. His heart was beating fast. She had a different feeling. It was a different experience for her. He also had a different take. Today's mood was different. Both of their hearts were beating fast. He couldn't take it anymore. Both of their feelings were gone. There were sweet sensations in both of her legs. She was completely ready. At first, we talked to each other. Respect each other's feelings. They understood each other. And then I decided to take a break. I asked her about her interests. Sometimes we try to understand each other. We immediately began to respect each other's feelings. There was a different look in her eyes. She was now very excited. We immediately decided to respect each other's feelings. Both of them were feeling very emotional. At first, we talked to each other. Respect each other's feelings. They understood each other. I said I love you and will always love you. She said, I love you so much. I love you too. After that, whenever we got time, we used to give time to each other and respect each other's feelings. After that, we continued to work. I've helped her many times. They understood each other and enjoyed each other. We still maintain a good relationship today. We still respect and honor each other. And then she and I were there. We both slept there. At about 3 o'clock she opened her eyes and woke me up. And then she went away. My relationship with my mother has remained the same ever since. She calls me when her husband and daughter are not at home. And me and Auntie enjoy it that way. If you want to hear new love stories like this, subscribe to the channel.